welcome to the first ever episode of whatever this is gonna be. So yeah. Today we are in the closet, as we will be for a while. So welcome to the closet. I can introduce you to all four corners here, and wrapping paper that was for Christmas that is still in the closet. So it's kind of just vibes in here. I feel like this is like the most relaxing place to talk and let out, the deepest secrets. So yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I've been wanting to do this kind of podcast format for a while, and I don't know, to actually go and do it, I feel like it's kind of what they say, like, it's the hardest part to start, and it seriously is the hardest part to start. Like, all things considered, to pull up a camera and start talking in the closet, I think, is definitely one of the hardest things to do. And I think, and this is kind of why, a lot of thoughts coming at once, but I'm trying to organize it because I feel like it's just not watchable if I'm like throwing up all these ideas, even though I want to, but pulling it back a little bit. I think the hardest thing is kind of expressing to the world that you want to connect with it, with you. And like, I think there's more than 1,000 million trillion people that could want the same thing as me. But I think, let me rephrase. I think there is a lot of people that would want to do the same thing as me, but won't necessarily find the courage or the confidence or even the will to do it. And that's something I have to respect, I guess, about what I'm doing, even though it feels really, really difficult, for the sole fact that my efforts are being seen. That period is crazy. It's crazy. But let's see how far we can go with this. Honestly, I just have really pure intentions with this project, and I'm really hoping I can stay consistent and really hoping that I get to achieve what I want to achieve. So, with that being said, welcome to the Hotties for Thought podcast that would be in my closet. What more chiller vibe than that, in the closet? So I think I want to talk about a little bit of why. I think I just kind of, dusted why I am doing this, but I think more as to what I kind of want to get out of it, a little bit more into detail. And like, I don't know, what comes up, you know what I'm saying? I feel like, I don't know. I really like, I'm jumping around again. Look at that. Catch. I'm thinking every week. Okay, I'm like just gonna, it's the Gemini rising. So, why I started this, I really wanted to find an outlet first and foremost, but also make kind of like this safe space, I think, for a kind of person or a way of thinking that I feel like I have not been exposed to yet. And I think what's tough is that, like, you know, there's this conversation, or there was this conversation of like looking for a third space that I found online. And there, I feel like the lack of third spaces in America is like one of the things that make it so hard for community to develop. And I think that's why online and social media has become something that's been like a very, I don't know how to word this, it's just a normal, right? But I think the internet is the third space between people, right? You have your, first space, second space, and then your third space, which probably would be online. And though it's super convenient, there is still a limitation with how how much you can interact, how much you can expose yourself, I guess, if I can even say that, because there's only so much, or how much you can really express online. And I think that, like, I say that as this online lurker. Like, if I'm on social media, if I'm looking through Instagram Reels or TikTok, most of the time I'm not really going to comment. I mean, once in a while I will, more often now, but I'm not going to really comment or say anything because I just don't see the purpose in that, right? And I feel like the purpose in these apps is to kind of be self-entertained, So it's just kind of like, why, like, what's the point? And I think that's kind of the thing about it, that like you're here engaging with other people's content, you're watching other people's content, you're digesting other people's content, but there isn't really the space to release it or to explain it or talk about it. And I think that there is little communities within groups or certain like interests, like when it comes to music artists, or like what kind of content you look at or whose kind of content you look at. There's like these sub communities from those content spaces, from those creators, right, that they make. And I think that's kind of what I'm picking at, because for what I've been digesting, and I'm on the internet a lot, not something to be proud of, but just the truth, I think community or online communities are something that is so fascinating to me, just because of the third space essence of it. Like, legit, I might be feeling crazy for being like, hey, I want a community where I feel like I can belong, but this is something that everyone wants collectively, right? That's why we are engaging in these social media practices. That's why we are creating these third spaces for ourselves. And I guess selfishly, that's a way in, I guess, to be like, hey, this is my take on it. But I think what is what am I trying to say? I think what is the fascinating thing about that, about what I feel like I'm taking versus someone joining this online community, is that there is that level, that chance to be rejected. I guess I think there is like, what am I trying to say? I'm actually getting frustrated myself, because I'm like, what is it I am trying to say? I don't know. It's I just feel like there is the third space isn't it's like, okay, okay, I think I'm finding it. Online communities aren't third spaces, though. I think that's what I'm trying to really get down in, because these online communities, everybody is not involved. Is that proper grammar? Who, I don't care. Every single person that is in that community is not involved in the conversations within that community, right? And so because the community is so large, there's different sub communities in that community, and there are different sub interests made from those sub communities. So, like, for example, throwaway example, really general. Let's say you're a fan of Beyonce, you're in the Beehive, right? That is a community of people that are obsessed with Beyonce's music. Who isn't? Um, However, they are different, I guess, subunits in that group where people really like a very specific album. Oh, I like the Lemonade album. Well, I am old school. I like old school Beyonce. I love the B-Day album, which honestly, hands down, I think is her best album. Love that album. Anyways, yeah, B-Day, Lemonade, or I like the recent Cowboy Carter. I don't know if that's what the album is called. I didn't listen to it, but yeah. And with that, three different albums, right? And then there's those three communities. And then from those communities, they're like, well, I like this specific song in that album. So there's a whole group dedicated to this one song on that one album in this one lyric. That's what I'm meaning. And I really, you might think, Tyra, oh my gosh, you're really dragging it. But I'm really not. I think this is the thing about it, that online spaces are not third spaces. They're just not. And I don't really think that they can function as one. Because if they did, I wouldn't be here right now. And I do think that is the case for a lot of many people that feel the same way I do. I think what America I live in America. What America really lacks is that sanctuary, that sense of community that is just so lost within, I don't know, this political climate. Can I even say that? Because I just really think I think that has a lot of influence, if I'm not gonna lie. That's really gonna have a lot that has a lot of influence with how we are engaging with each other now, especially on the internet. So I think it's so funny. It's so funny. Let me take a freaking hit right now. Refreshing. I think I think it's so frustrating. I think the catch-22 of it all is that when you are online, you are online. You're on the line. You're in connection. In theory, you're connected to a lot of content and a lot of different people and networks and places. But in the end, it's voyeuristic. You are just a passenger in a car that you're not driving, you know? You're kind of just telling the taxi driver where you want to go, and he kind of drops you off at wherever he wants to go, wherever you want to go, excuse me. And then when you want him to take you somewhere else, you just holler and he takes you somewhere else, you know? That's the thing about this stuff. It's you're not in control as much as you think you are. And I think I've kind of was just starting to realize that, yeah, I'm not in control as much as I thought it was. Anyways, that's a little bit why I'm here. why I'm doing this. Just a little bit. I just honestly, you know, wanted to kind of just explore a space, I guess, to just kind of like do whatever, say whatever, but like, you know, in a more deeper analysis-y kind of way. I find value in that. So yeah, but I think it's kind of another way to kind of push myself into kind of blossoming to the person I feel like I'm meant to be. Because I think in a lot of ways I stunt my own growth because of fear and other bahana janas, things that I don't think should matter all that much, but still do because we live in a society. So I guess to be real, I think, I don't know, like if you're really down with that journey, I'd love to have you. Um, but if it's not your cup of tea, then that's really good too. I just think, I don't know, there is a need for, I don't know, just intimate, deep conversations about life, um, and like other stuff, but more of that, because, yeah, you know, I just, sometimes you just gotta just vibe and, think in the closet. And I do a lot. So, yeah. A little about me. So, my name is Tara. I am 24 and I live in California. I haven't always lived in California. I grew up most of my life in New York and, moved to SoCal in high school. Been vibing out here ever since. Traveled, lived abroad for a little bit. Did the little dancey dance, and yeah, I mean, it's kind of been kind of crazy. It's kind of been fun, but I think for the most part, I always find myself getting really lost or caught up in like the wind of just the new. I think I'm someone who gets very caught up in just like doing things, excuse me, and just like experiencing things. Excuse me. Ooh, it's true though. I think like experience for me is like why people do crack. Like I love the rush of just experiencing something new, whether it's like good or bad. But in most cases, if it's good, it's kind of like a really, I don't know. It's like there's like a rush to just like going to a place I never been before, or eating something I never tried, or hanging out with people I never hung out with. But I think that chasing that kind of novelty isn't really sustainable, right? And I think that's kind of the thing about it. Like, there gets to a point when you live life like that. Okay, well, my thing just shut off. I don't know what that means. I don't know how much more time I have, but we're gonna have to see about that. But I don't know if I have much storage left. But anyways, yeah. For the most part, yeah, like I may or may not have a problem when it comes to like just chasing the high of the new stuff. And I don't know, like I guess as a youth person, they say you should experience everything. And I think that's somehow like burned into my mind that like I try to experience as much as possible. But on the flip side of that, you can lose yourself in just like being in everything. Like, I think that's one thing. If I could advise younger me, I would be like, hey, man, like, you don't have to do all that. Because I really thought I had to. Like, I really legitimately thought in my head that, like, I had to experience as much as possible for me to have a fulfilling life. And, like, now, looking back at it, I definitely think that I did not need to experience every little thing. And the thing is, I would be jealous about people I would be jealous of people who would have experienced a lot more than I did at whatever age I was at. So for example, if I was 18 and I haven't traveled the world yet, or moved by myself, or like saved turtles, like if I knew somebody that was 17 who traveled the world and sang in every country and saved turtles and pandas and was financially independent, oh my gosh, I would go ballistic. So I really, 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 really tried to live life right. And I still somehow got it wrong. So it's like, no matter how much you do good or how do you do well in life, somewhere, somehow, you are going to end up in the same playing field as everyone else. And I think that's kind of the matter of things. Like, no one is ahead of anyone else. This rat race that you've been programmed to believe that you're in is like is not it's not real. Like, we might start the same. We might have different starts, but we are going to also end up in the same place. And I think that's kind of like one of the things that I'm really, really facing at this point in my life, that like there is not any rush. There's no rush to prove anything to anybody, cuz I'm just going to end up in the same place either way. And though I am really thankful that I pushed myself to experience all those things I wanted to experience, it really didn't mean anything but pure novelty. Hanging out with those people that, maybe had access to limited resources, if you know what I mean. Just because I can say I hung out with people that had limited resources, if you know what I mean, was not worth it. And maybe you're watching this and you're like, oh my god, duh, like, didn't your parents teach you better? First of all, no. And then second of all, let me not say that. I think I was hypnotized to believe that doing more meant gaining more. And so, yes, I guess experience as much as possible, but also live your life that is true to who you are. I think that is probably the best advice I could give anybody who's watching this that is not in this life stage yet. Because I promise you that being true to yourself is probably finding yourself is probably the most important thing. And maybe people told me to experience everything in the hopes that I will find myself. I think maybe that was kind of the point of that, and I took it and I thought, oh, I gotta go run with the wolves, like, maybe. But I guess if you are a little bit like me, and that advice kind of is like, yo, what? I think that's kind of what I have to say about that. Like, I think really understanding who you are, why you do the things that you do, what do you want to do, what are your desires, what your purpose in life, and though that stuff, it might come to you in experience, but I think rather than framing it as having to experience everything, I think it's more of finding yourself. Go and find yourself in these spaces. If you are going to find yourself through these interactions with people that have limited resources, yes. If you're going to find yourself with people who, I don't know, like books, like, maybe framing it like that could be more helpful. I'm not saying I'm not grateful, honestly. I'm very, very grateful because every experience I had led me to the person I am today. I just kind of wished I just wasn't so hard on myself to try to do everything and just experience everything at like such a young age. And being told, oh, you're so young, you have more time, you have so much time, over and over again, it just kind of like, oh wow, means I can do more stuff. But man, it's so debilitating to just like force yourself to just do things again and again and again and again, and just like new, bigger, you know? Yeah, I mean, I wish I could get into things more specifically, but I don't really feel like I have enough time for that. I feel like generally speaking, gist of it speaking, generally it's really just like it's really that. Um yeah, but like, in the end, well, I mean, I can't even say in the end because I'm not even in the end. I'm like quarter. So, I don't know. Who knows? I could feel a little differently a year from now about the past because I think how I see the past is changing every single day. Not really, but it did change the last few months. But I think these months have been very important in my development. So, how I see everything has been changing. Yeah, if I'm being real, I think like how you look at the past is everything. And I know I'm somebody who definitely has to take the time to actually like reflect. Like after I have some major interaction, major event, like if I have an awkward conversation with a cashier and it's hella awkward, like I'm the type of person to go sit in my car and take 30 minutes out of my day to really think about why that was awkward. I feel like if you think you're a reflection king, nah, man. Look at my straight thumb. Not as much as this gal. Look at how straight my thumb is. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. What the? Oh my god. What? Why is one curved and one straight? Oh my god. I just. Oh my god. What? What? Did you. This. This can't. Does body change like this? Does the body change over time? I don't think I ever noticed this about myself. Why is one straight and one curved? One looks like a normal thumb and the other one is like com- almost completely straight with a slight angled bend at the very tip. Oh my god. I uh, I wish I could describe to you the feeling that I'm feeling right now. It's like a mild disgust and a shock with my own body. It's just I don't know, like I haven't it's just so weird It's like it's like a what is this? I don't know. It like looks so alien to me. Oh, there it is. That's what like, see? What? I don't even see now it's like regular. All right. You know what? Let's leave it alone. You know what? This is maybe probably a good time to end it, you know? I think I'm a little bit in over my head. Anyways, if you made it to this point, oh my god, I might actually fall in love with you because what the actual heck? Like that's crazy. So, honestly, thank you so much for sitting with me in the closet, just chatting it up, yapping it up about, life and things. Honestly, a little sporadic, but really hope that you got the gist of what I'm trying to say. The main goal is to blow up and act like I don't know nobody. Ha 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 ha. Oh my gosh. And if anyone gets that reference, you, me trying not to curse, you are an awesome human being. But honestly, I have a lot of ideas about this. A lot of ideas about this podcast project in particular. I really do hope to have a lot of guests come on, a lot of funny people, funnier than me. I know. How could they be anyone? But yeah, funny people just on this thing to talk about, chat about life with, and other boobas. And I don't know, like, I really hope to just push myself as far as I can, as far as possible with this, and see what comes out of it. And really just push myself to be consistent, at least for a year. And that's that. But I really do want to push myself every episode to just do something I'm uncomfortable with. And I don't know, like, who knows what the person I'll be, what the person you'll be, what the person we'll all be at the end of it. So, thank you so much for watching and listening. Have a great day or night whenever you're watching or listening to this. And yeah, all but good, all good but good vibes sent to you. Thank you, and talk to you later.